Hello, it is Friday, September 18th. My name is Jason Stanton. I serve First Lutheran in Onalaska as their senior pastor, and this is my morning musing today. I've been thinking about what is church for? It's a question I've wondered since I was a kid. I've always thought about, why do people do this? Why go to church? Why be a part of a church? It's all very optional. And as I got to seminary, that was a question that was more and more being talked about, that, there was a time in our country that some of us even remember when church membership and then church attendance were just givens. Families, individuals just did that. When you moved to a town, that was one of the things, you'd find a doctor, find a dentist, find your way around, find a church. That was just part of what you did. And in these days, that is not the case. It is very optional to be a member of a church, and then even if you're a member, it's even more optional to attend worship with any regularity. And then in these COVID times, all of those things that we used to have as givens, they're not even given anymore. And so it's a good question to ask time and time again in different times. What is church for? And so, the answers off the top of my head, and church is not only about these things I'm about to say, but it's the things that I was thinking about include a place to worship. Maybe that's the most obvious, but what that means to me is it's a time and place to encounter the holy. Not that can't happen elsewhere, but it's definitely a place that can accomplish that in ways that maybe just being outside can't, as the sacraments are offered, the word is read, prayers are prayed, all those things. So that's maybe the first thing in my mind, is church is a place to worship. It's also a place, I think, over the centuries that we've shown it's a place to experience beauty through music that lifts the soul, through art that is commissioned and perhaps is especially for transcendent experience. Poetry, I mean, the Psalms are poems. So it's a place to experience beauty. It's also a place, church is a place to learn. It's not always been really a center of learning necessarily, but I think for a lot of us, we're a member of a church because we want to learn more about ourselves. We want to learn more about God. We want to learn about our place in God's story. It's also a place to remember. So learning and remembering are, I think, very connected, because a lot of the things that I've learned in the past, I need to be reminded of. I easily forget lessons that would serve me well if I would remember them better. And so remembering is also what a church is for. Church is a community in and of itself. And so I think that's the place where I landed as I was doing this exercise, what is church for? That's the place where I landed and had to think more and more about. Because what is community now? What was community even a year ago? It's a place to practice community, which means it's a place to practice forgiveness. It's a place to practice mutual support, sometimes mutual challenge. It's a group of people that share sacrifices. Obviously we're in the midst of the end of our capital campaign and this above and beyond appeal. And so there's a shared sacrifice among over 200 families that are choosing to not only give to the general budget that we do every year, but then to also give an additional chunk of change. That's a shared sacrifice. It's also, a community is about a shared experience. And sometimes the shared experience of a community that draws a community closer together is hard. When I talked about flashbulb memories, I think it was last week on 9/11, sometimes a shared experience is something traumatic and awful, but it can still bring people together. Other times, shared experiences are just plain fun. I remember growing up in a church in Belvedere, Illinois, and they would every summer go to a White Sox game. Did everybody enjoy the day because it was a White Sox game? No. But they enjoyed it because they were with each other. church communities have always found ways to have fun together. You know, we're in Bible readers, we're reading from Numbers right now. Leviticus and Numbers each talk about how the community can be community together. And a lot of the stuff, yes, is rooted in law. And here's, you know, thou shalt not do this and thou shalt not do that. And there's a lot of have-tos. But you know, there's also directions for how to celebrate festivals together. You know, even now in modern day Judaism, there's the Festival of Lights. There's all kinds of festivals that they have all year long to mark time and to also make sure the community is having fun together. And that's what this weekend at Sugar Creek Bible Camp is about. That's why we've invited the whole congregation to a First Lutheran Play Days at Sugar Creek Bible Camp. We want to have fun together. A church that I served in South Carolina, they every year would have a weekend at their closest Bible camp. Having fun is something that ties churches together. I think it's part of what community is for, is not only to teach us how to be forgiving and how to put up with each other when we don't all like the same songs that we sing in worship, but it's also an opportunity to just learn how to have fun with other people. Maybe it's intergenerational fun, maybe it's fun with people you might not hang out with otherwise, but church friends, having faith in common, really does grow community differently than any other community that you might be a part of. So if you haven't already considered being a part of our First Lutheran Play Days at Sugar Creek, it's not too late. Come for the day on Saturday. Come for the day on Sunday. We'll be worshiping Sunday 10:30 to 11:30-ish, and then there'll be lunch, and then people can stay as long as they'd like. On Saturday, there's all kinds of stuff, especially Saturday afternoon, to choose from. Pastor Karen's going to be leading an acrylic pouring. Carla and I are going to be doing a devotional piece at 10:30 in the morning on Saturday. There's going to be campfires each evening. There's all kinds of fun stuff for all ages to enjoy. And more than anything, that's what I'm hoping this weekend is. It's just a chance for our community to have fun together. And so today, on this Friday, because Friday is the day that we launch into a weekend, of course, on this Friday, I thank God for fun.